argue all of that. Let it be known that we're speechless, but instead of the kind of speechlessness that we went to a certain movie we reviewed on here before,
not like Batman v Superman.
Not in the slightest. This felt about 100 times more resonant than that was.
Where to start with this?
Where do you start? I mean,
right off the bat, we get a couple of casualties.
Yes. I mean, how far do we go with this? Do we just go on ahead and say who it is, or do we hold this back?
Shall we throw up spoiler? Hey, Stephanie, spoiler alert.
Okay, there it is. Yeah. Before the opening title even hits, both Loki and Heimdall both bided at the hands of Thanos and his minions.
Curiously absent is Valkyrie, our new member of the Avengers.
I was surprised that she wasn't in there either.
I could have sworn I heard she was in the cast list.
I don't know what the deal is there. Hopefully, I mean, either she got killed off just as quick, or
I doubt they
somehow
killed her off that quickly, because they just introduced her.
I mean, who knows? Who knows at this stage? We wind up with another casualty in the middle part of the movie with Gamora being sacrificed to create the Soul Stone.
We finally get the Soul Stone, and what a shock! Who's been watching over it this entire time?
Yeah.
The entire theater let out a collective gasp when we saw who it was. I heard rumors that this guy would be in the movie, and I didn't buy it for a second. I'm thinking, well, where are they getting their information from? This is just pure speculation, like with every big tentpole movie franchise that comes out, but no, some of these people were absolutely right.
I mean, we were all shocked. Like, I don't think it was like everyone in the theater, and we saw this in a full theater.
Full theater, first screening.
IMAX 3D, everything. I mean, like, the moments that everyone just... There were so many moments where the folks were clapping and applauding.
This felt like seeing the first Avengers film all over again.
It really did. It absolutely did.
The difference being this wasn't a midnight premiere because some jackass had to come along that year and ruin those for everyone.
Less said about that, the better.
Yeah.
But more or less, it just shocking. And no, that's one I think that we can even draw the spoiler line on for that, because that's just a surprise among surprises.
Oh yeah,
that's something that you need to experience raw. No two ways about it. And oh my God, the final moments of the movie.
What a climax, or non-climax, because we all know that Avengers 4 is going to be coming out next year.
Still, I mean, to have a major motion picture end on that kind of note.
It ends on a note where it's like, wait, did the movie really just end?
Did the movie really just end and the bad guy accomplished his mission?
Well, you know, with a mission like this, where you're collecting something for an all-powerful thing, you know the all-powerful thing has to come into effect.
This is true, but I think
because you have to pay that off.
The image, still though, the images and just the reactions from everyone, like, I don't think that anyone expected it. I mean, goodness knows I wasn't expecting it. I mean, holy crap. I mean, it was...
This thing does some damage.
Yes, very much so. It does a lot of damage, and I won't go into detail as to who it is at the end that feels it, but let's just say there's some surprising folks that wind up going away for a payoff in another certain movie that was teased at the very, very end.
Oh my! I knew that there had to be a tease for this character somewhere in the film, and I was 100% right.
I mean, I think that's where the whole thing is going to really start from for the final, for the fourth Avengers movie. Where's my words at the moment?
Oh, we were just so flabbergasted at this.
Yeah, I mean, in
a good way.
Everyone brought their A game for this. No two ways about it.
Some did not. There is no Ant-Man in this. There is no Hawkeye in this.
Obviously, for payoff, and they do explain why those guys are not in this movie.
With Ant-Man in a movie coming out like 2 months from now, it would be weird to have that happen in the middle of this huge conflict.
Yeah, this is
true.
So
technically it is happening in the middle of this huge conflict. You have to wonder if Ant-Man and the Wasp is going to have several scenes of people just disappearing.
I mean, I'm kind of wondering about that as well. And, that's also talking about all the other shows that it's going to, all the other series that it's going to have an effect on, at least for the foreseeable future.
Well, pretty much just Ant-Man, because Captain Marvel, as we know, takes place in the 90s, where none of this is relevant.
Well, this is true, but at the same time, I mean, obviously there's a need that she gets called for, and, well, that's when you can spoil, because, yes, the last shot is
a big tease for Captain Marvel, and I was just, yes! Yeah, in the theater, yes! I totally called it, and then just seeing her emblem was just... Oh!
Everyone who knew what that emblem was cheering for that.
Yes.
And, like I said, that's going to be the beginning of the rising action towards Avengers 4, whatever that's going to be called.
Secret War or Infinity Crusade.
Something, I don't know. Boy, oh boy. Yeah, and I can't help but also think about this. It's just like, this whole thing has been going on for 10 years now.
I never expected it would go as far as it has gone.
I don't think anyone did when it started out.
When I first saw the first trailer for Iron Man, believe it or not, it was a tease at the end of the Transformers DVD, the first Transformers.
I remember that.
This was when it was still Paramount doing these movies, and I was just thinking, oh, they're doing Iron Man now. Oh, well, he actually looks good. And sadly, I did not get to see that one in the theaters. Nor did I see Incredible Hulk in theaters.
I did not start going to these things on a regular basis until Iron Man 2.
I thought you did see Iron Man in theaters.
Not in theaters. No, I think that at that point, if I recall correctly, that summer when Iron Man first came out, my mind was so focused on The Dark Knight.
Another superhero movie.
It's
one of the last greatest efforts of DC.
Unfortunately.
I think the last greatest effort was Wonder Woman, but
well, and even then, I wouldn't say that Wonder Woman is as good as The Dark Knight.
But not as good as The Dark Knight, but pretty damn good.
Then again, I definitely have been meaning to go back.
Justice League. Passable.
I've been wanting to go back and revisit The Dark Knight for a while now to see if that movie still holds up. There's kind of
it's been on cable a lot recently, actually. Premium cable.
No surprise about that. I think that maybe because they know that the summer season's coming around, superheroes are probably an easy thing to put on there for some things. I mean, of course, you want to talk about comic book superheroes. I mean, we just had the. We had the release of Action Comics number 1000 last
1000,
week.
Yeah.
I mean, first off, I'll give DC at least enough credit for when they did Rebirth, they resumed the numerations of Action Comics so that number 1000 was a reality. And we're not that far away from Detective Comics number 1000 being a thing as well.
That's true, yeah.
So probably another year or so, but...
It's got to be another year, yeah.
But
no, I'm not sure.
I don't know what the current number is at the moment.
You would think Detective Comics would have come out already, because Superman debuted in Action Comics number 1, and Batman debuted a year later in Detective Comics 27.
That's a good point, though. I mean, who knows?
I need to double check on
We would
that.
need to double check, but now we're getting a little bit off topic here.
Yes.
But, you know, and part of it is just the fact that we kind of want to dance around this. I mean, yeah, we've spoiled a couple of things, but at the same time, it's still just a movie that we're just not sure how to talk about it other than just go see this movie and then just wonder at what you see.
I just love going to these big event films with a huge packed audience because everyone is cheering at all the right time because they've spent 10 years getting invested with these characters.
It's been
something
built up.
that Justice League just did not have because
Something
they
that
want to
these-
shove everything in all at once.
I mean, again, I mean, that probably is our most viewed one of these that we've ever done, the Batman v Superman one. And
Of these reviews, yeah.
yes, and you know, it was, I think, for a good reason. It was literally one of those movies that we walked out and we were just like, what the hell did we just watch?
A train wreck.
A train wreck, a travesty?
I mean, we don't mean to keep beating a dead horse here. We
But
know that there are people that like these movies enough that they're actually putting together review bomb campaigns for anything made by Disney.
Oh boy, I could say a lot of things about that, but
But you know, I've always been more of a DC reader than a Marvel reader, and when it comes to these films, Marvel is just knocking it out of the park.
time and again, they just, at the same time, even the ones that aren't as good, like even the ones that aren't really as good as Thor: The Dark World or even Iron Man 2, I think that anyone...
And some of their
there's a lot of-
televisional efforts, Iron
let's-
Fist and Humans.
Let's keep it focused on the movies. I think that I would much rather watch Iron Man 2 or Thor: The Dark World much more so than watch Batman v Superman or Suicide Squad.
Absolutely. Call me crazy, I just don't get the hate for Iron Man 2. Like, it's not great, but I don't see it as like a train wreck like a lot of people do.
No, I don't think it
It's
is either.
entirely watchable.
I think that the difference is that one had that was the one that had so much hype into it going in that it was going to be impossible to reach anything no matter what. But no, I mean, I think, you know, you go even keeled on this. I mean, those are the bottom two, but even then, you would still take those two.
Actually, a lot of people would put Iron Man 3 at the bottom
Which
too.
I don't get. I loved Iron Man 3, and I will defend the Trevor Slattery twist to the day I die.
I'm not a fan of the Trevor Slattery twist, but, you know, all hail the king made up for it, so...
I mean, I'm sorry. When I remember watching that weekend, and just being like, and then just watching it come down, I'm just like, holy shit! Did they just swerved
They played us.
They swerved the shit out of us. And you know what? Way to go, Shane Black.
I mean, I'm all for twists. You know, I like the Last Jedi and its twists, but and you hate comments, but
as if we're not doing enough climbing up of Disney at this point.
But when it came to the Mandarin, it just felt like an unfair twist because this is an established comic book character, Iron Man's #1 arch nemesis.
A fair point. I'll give you at least that much. I still think that, given everything that it was, it wound up being. I really enjoyed that myself. But I mean, the question now is basically, you know, what's next? I mean, obviously, you have Ant-Man and Wasp that's coming out in June.
This movie is getting 3 of these movies in rapid succession, and then a huge break till Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I mean, because we had Black Panther in February, and then we had and they pushed
this forward. That's almost unheard of. Well, a week, sure, but
even
it went from May to April.
But
so.
still, yeah, that's almost unheard of, for heaven's sakes. That you push a big tentpole up a week. Now, granted, it was probably to make sure that another certain Marvel movie has as good a chance to make as much money as it possibly can, which I'm certainly looking forward to. I'm sorry I will definitely say Ryan Reynolds is excellent, and I do hope that if 20th Century Fox does wind up, being purchased by Disney, as troublesome as that might be, I really hope that they could turn Deadpool into the new Stan Lee cameo. I mean, you don't think... I mean,
especially considering Stan Lee hasn't been in the utmost best health lately.
Yeah, I've heard that
he always seems so chipper in everything he does, but off camera, he's not doing all that well. I've been anticipating him living to 100, but you know, it's looking more and more that that might not be the case. But we'll wait and see. I'll certainly hope so.
I mean, I think that all of us know that time is coming for him, and it's hopefully a lot later than sooner.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, regardless, it's going to be a sad day when that does happen. But at the same time, it's not like, say, you know, some of the other passings that we've had in the last few years, where it feels like folks have just keeled over when they had so much left to give.
So what else to say about this? This is a minor thing, but why does Peter Parker assume that nobody's familiar with the super famous movies that he's seen?
I mean, it's a novel way to work in the kind of snarky pop culture reference spewing machine.
This time around, it was just again, you're making assumptions like this. You're doing that joke again.
I mean, it was kind of an eye roll, but at the same time, it also did lead to an awesome scene. So I can forgive it in retrospect.
Mantis is reminding me more and more of Starfire, animated Starfire.
Original Teen Titans animated Starfire, not Teen Titans.
Something about her adorable naivete.
Yeah, that I can definitely see all of that, and well, you know, once again, you know, Bradley Cooper is excellent as Rocket, and
he has some great moments in this movie.
Absolutely, it just. Everything just...
The rabbit.
You'll understand when you see it. It's just kind of just a stunner of a movie that just kind of leaves you wondering, geez, you know, where do you go from this point now?
A surprise in this was Peter Dinklage.
Yes!
As if he wasn't big enough already.
Oh my goodness!
I was expecting him to be Pitt of the Infinity Watch, the little cigar chomping troll. But no, they made him sort of a weapon forger who not only created the Infinity Gauntlet, but also helps Thor to create Stormbreaker, his new replacement for Mjolnir.
Which is excellent in action, let's be reasonable about this.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, now it's just a matter of just waiting until... I mean, we're gonna get Ant-Man and Wasp, and then we're gonna be having a break for these things, at least until next March. Mm-hmm. When Carol Danvers comes on in and makes her appearance. And
Brie Larson.
And... I think that everyone is just wondering how this is going to work, because again, that movie is going to be taking place a good 20 years at least 20 years prior to the events of what we're seeing right now. So
she's assuming a mantle, much as Scott Lang does with Ant-Man. She's assuming a mantle from Captain Marvel, played by Jude Law.
Yeah, which is unfortunate, because that means we're probably not going to get Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law together again. And
we've got 2 Sherlocks and 2 Watsons in this franchise.
And that was kind of I'll just say this: I am a little disappointed that a Sherlock comment didn't come out of one of their mouths, or even out of Peter's mouth. Well, Parker or Quill, for goodness sake.
Yes, that's something I noticed a while leading up to this film. There are 2 Peters in this movie.
I mean, you can't have everything, but I mean, do we even need to say about whether or not you guys need to go see this movie? You're probably already going to go see it.
You probably saw it already.
I mean, do you need?
And if this is if this movie is anything to show, Avengers 4 is probably going to be even better. Here's hoping.
Well, and of course, Avengers 4, that's definitely
That's definitely probably going to be the one that has everybody.
I mean, that's already being built as sort of the end point for the first major look. I mean, everyone is...
At the end of Phase 3, at least.
At the end of Phase 3, which probably means you're going to see a lot of these guys either retire or kind of just settle into basically being just cameo roles at this point.
And, I think they've earned it at this point.
I don't think anyone would argue with that. I mean, you're probably going to see...
I mean, I think a good Phase 4 would... if this Fox deal goes through, do Fantastic Four and X-Men as major players. And I don't mean sadly don't mean a continuation of Fox's X-Men. I don't want to rain on anybody's parades if they're fans of the series. I was particularly fans of Deadpool because the Deadpool movies are going real strong right now.
Deadpool would have probably the least amount of problems moving over just because of the kind of character he is.
Kind of the fourth wall breaking wise ass.
Yeah.
I don't. The X-Men movies started out strong, but as they went along, their timeline became a cluster. Even after retconning things in Days of Future Past.
As far as I'm concerned...
It is a mess.
Yeah, it is a mess, and as far as I'm concerned, Logan is a perfect endpoint for me for those movies.
Right, and now they're just beginning New Mutants, and that could complicate things.
I mean, who knows what's going to happen at this
And they've got that Dark Phoenix, another f***ing Phoenix movie.
I mean, how many times do you got to do it before you realize that you're not going to be able to hit it the right way, unfortunately. I don't know. All that I know is that right now you don't know what to expect because, and here's another thing that's supposedly going to complicate things if the Fox sale goes through. What do you do about Lupita Nyong'o's character in Black Panther in regards to an incoming Aurora Monroe?
Is she playing?
No. I'm saying like you would assume that Aurora was going to be coming in at some point as a completely new character.
Right.
And
you're saying what to do with Nakia?
Yeah,
not Lupita Nyong'o.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I said. Her character.
Oh,
didn't I?
I don't know.
I don't know. Again, we're all over the place tonight for a good reason though. I mean, because correct me if I'm wrong, don't Black Panther and Storm kind of have an ongoing relationship?
Oh yeah, and the whole reason they put Nakia in the front and center is because
you can't use Aurora.
You can't use Storm.
So,
but if they've broken Bruce Banner up from Jane Foster. Betty Ross, and they've broken Thor up with Jane Foster.
Which is curious because, I mean, does that mean we're not going to get Natalie Portman as the female Thor? That's a disappointment.
A lot of people, weird people out there will probably be rejoicing at that.
Whatever. The day that I start taking those folks seriously is the day that I start actively praising Donald Trump.
But yeah, anything else to say?
I just, other than that, it's just now...
Oh, yeah, one thing that bugged me by the end of the film, there was a very good shot from the trailers. Everyone's seen this shot, and it's nowhere in the film.
It's surprising. I mean, let's be reasonable here, like... Shots from trailers don't always make it into the movies.
Okay, keep point. Rogue One.
Rogue One is probably the best recent example
that
of that.
excuse is the reshoots. But this, I have to wonder if this is a shot from Avengers 4.
I would. You know what? I wouldn't be shocked if that winds up being the case, especially since it has one character that only appeared at the very beginning of the movie and didn't appear anywhere else.
Yeah, the other guy.
I mean, who knows at this stage?
Yeah, it was a weird thing in this film how we're actually having the Hulk refuse to come out and actually fighting back against Banner.
Yeah, that was something that I've never seen before.
I'm sure it's been done in the comics, but it was certainly weird in the context of this particular film series.
Especially given that,
because in the comics, Hulk has always been aware of Banner and calling him puny Banner and blah, blah, blah.
I mean, then again, maybe the extended amount of time that he had as the Hulk, those 2 years in between Age of Ultron
on Sakaar.
and Thor Ragnarok. I mean, maybe that changes the dynamic a little.
Oh,
bit
there was certainly a change in his personality by that film. He was talking more openly, and he was much more closer to what the Hulk usually is in the comics. Because a lot of people assume he's just Hulk smash, but no, he does a lot of caveman talking in the comics. And even intellectual talking at times.
Very true, and of course, if they ever decided to do She-Hulk, we get more of that.
If not Deadpool, She-Hulk should be that fourth wall breaking voice
In the MCU, most definitely.
Yes.
Although, is that a problem because it might still be owned by Universal, and that's why they haven't been able to do anything? I thought that Hulk hasn't had a movie to himself since the Ed Norton movie back in 2008.
Which is disappointing because we still have not gotten a payoff for the leader. All we've gotten is in the Fury's Big Week comic book leading up to the original Avengers film was that S.H.I.E.L.D. recovered him. And that's all we really know.
I mean, that couldn't be an easy thing to do on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., for God's sakes.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has mainly dealt with Inhumans and Project Centipede with the late Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton, yep.
And they've done stuff with the Kree Watch and stuff like that.
Right, I was watching the 10-minute retrospective video on the MCU, courtesy of Geek.com.
Movie Bob. The fastest summary I've ever heard him do. It's like he speeded himself up to John Nishida levels.
I don't know if it's even quicker than his little, if it's quicker than what he did in his really that bad recap of Lex Luthor's master plan from Batman.
No, it's faster than that.
I mean, even then, it's kind of a surprise when you're not expecting it. So. But overall, though, there's nothing else I think we can say about this other than just go see this movie. Hello.
Don't make me use this on you.
But yeah, just go see this movie, and let's keep ourselves excited here, getting ready for Deadpool, getting ready for Ant-Man and Wasp, and
Solo,
and then let's get ready for Solo. So that's gonna do it for us.